Offense. The man in the middle, the center, Adam Noble, a 6 foot, 180-pound senior. He'll be flanked by guards Matt Zolby, the right guard, at 5'8" and 200. He is a senior. Left guard will be Jeff Matthewson, 5'10", 175, and a junior. The left tackle, Heath Robinson, a 6 foot, 205-pound junior. Set to tee it up, and we are underway. It's a low line drive end over end kick. It's fielded at the 30, taken straight up the field, and still on his feet is Carl King. King gets across the 50-yard line and is knocked down at about the Circleville 48.
Here a bad start for the Circleville Tigers in that they were assessed a 15-yard kicking from their own 25.
So London takes over 1st and 10 for their first series of downs in the I formation. Quarterback is John Johnson, looks around, goes under center Adam Noble, turns and hands off up the middle, and nothing much doing there. It was Aaron Roberts, the fullback, on the carry. Actually, pick up on the plate will bring up a 2nd and 6, 11-17 to go here in the first quarter. No score from Circleville High School. High formation once again, Johnson at quarterback. Behind him, Roberts and King. The long count. Turns and fakes the handoff, rolls out the left side, pitches back to King. King tries to turn the corner, but gets hit about the line of scrimmage and bowls forward and picks up about another
first down.
Clock is moving with 10:35 to go here in the first quarter. London with the football at the Circleville 39-yard line. Handoff goes to the fullback. Head down. Aaron Roberts just bowls ahead for the first down. At about the Circleville 37-yard line. Again, Johnson at quarterback. He's got Chad Peters split out wide to the right. It's Adrian Terry, 10 to the left. Roberts and King the setback. Back to pass is Johnson. His first pass attempt. Pass over the middle is caught by Peters. Peters picks up the first down and is knocked down at the 19-yard line.
Defensive play by Tyson Whitcraft. Tyson Whitcraft, excellent coverage, Gary. But
go here in the first quarter. Switching from the left side to the right is tight end Jay Hoy. Tight at right end. A handoff this time going to the tailback, Carl King. King with a plunge up the middle and gets stopped after about a 2-yard gain, possibly 3.
Tackle that time for the Tigers, Mark at Circleville, and Blaine, a junior, starting defensive end for Circleville.
High formation once again. This time Chad Peters split out 15 yards to the right. Adrian Terry 10 to the left. And the handoff going to the fullback strip. The middle breaks the tackle. It's Aaron Roberts still on his feet. Gets inside the 10 and is finally down at about the 4-yard line.
T.J. Wright, the free safety, the final man between the runner and the end. It'll be 1st and goal, I believe, Gary.
8:45 and counting here. 1st and goal at the Circleville 4-yard line for London. Johnson at quarterback. Turns and hands off to the fullback. It is Aaron Roberts plunging down to about the 1-yard line. He stops short of the goal line.
Jason Combs and T.D. Hicks, the 2 in.
And counting, Rico Hiram, the 5'10", 160-pound senior, back into the football game. Split out on the left side, 15 yards. Aaron Roberts and Carl King, the setback. And the handoff going up the middle once again to the fullback, Roberts. And he is going to be stopped short of the goal line.
Great stop by Jason Combs. London on the 1-yard line. Combs met the runner, and that time the running back was stopped when the initial hit was made by the Tigers. Combs able to stop him at the 1. It'll be 3rd and short yardage for the Raiders.
Hiram back to the sidelines, and Adrian Terry back in with a new play. Apparently they're using receivers to bring in the plays. Terry will split out 15 yards to the right, and Terry 10 to the left.
Here we might see the tailback or the quarterback this time.
And it is the quarterback, Johnson, just following his center, Adam Noble, and then we haven't seen the signal for a touchdown yet. I think he was stopped just short of the goal line.
He's in.
And now they're going to say that he was in for the touchdown. They haven't put it up on the score. London strikes on their first possession of the game. Coming in now to do the kicking is Jamie Floria. The long snapper is Adrian Terry. Snap is good, the hold is good, the kick is up, and it is right on through. 7-0 London with 7:23 to go in the first quarter. High school football on WTLT.
Tonight's game is brought to you in part.
Nothing. The Red Raiders set to kick off now. And a back deep to receive for Circleville is T.J. Wright and T.D. Hicks. Doing the kicking will be Floria. He puts the toe into it, and fielding the ball is Hicks at the 15-yard line, goes straight ahead and is met by a flurry of white jerseys brought down at the 25-yard line.
Adrian Terry, the first.
7-0 London. And here we go. At quarterback, T.J. Wright, behind him Tyson Whitcraft and T.D. Hicks. And a pass play on the first play of the game, and it's going to be incomplete. Trying to break it up was the defensive halfback. So it brings up a 2nd down and 10 at the 26. This time a running play going to the right side. Tyson Whitcraft, I believe, the fullback, picks up maybe a yard to go here in the first quarter. 7-0 London. Running play this time, the fullback Tyson Whitcraft up the middle and picks up a few yards, gets a couple of them back, but it's going to bring up.
London should have pretty good field position, and defensively, Circleville really needs to stop London, or this game could get out of hand in a hurry, much like happened to Logan Elm last week with this talented offense of London.
Bad snap. Most picks it up, and he can't get the kickoff. He's running to the left side, tripped up and brought down at the 23, and so a bad situation turns worse for the Circleville Tigers. You're right, London is going to have good field position.
Sudden those mistakes begin to mount, and you cannot make mistakes like that against a team like London, or you'll find yourself down 20 or 30 points in a hurry.
I formation as usual. It is Adrian Terry to the right, Chad Peters to the left. Johnson at quarterback, behind him Robertson King. Turns and takes the handoff, goes to the left side. Johnson finds a hole.
Of course, the Red Raiders, if they get in and take a quick 14-0 lead, this game could be over in a hurry.
Rico Hiram back into the ball game, split 15 yards to the right, Peters to the left. Johnson turns and hands off to the tailback King. King off the left tackle is stopped after a pickup of about a yard, gets up to about the 15-yard line. Winding down inside of 5 minutes to go here in the first quarter.
Went ahead, went with Johnson in the quarterback sneak, but now at about the 14, a little over a yard to go.
Hiram stays in the game and splits out 10 yards to the left. It is Peters, 15 to the right. Man in motion is the tight end Hoy. I formation, turn, and the handoff going to the tailback. Carl King once again, he piles right into a sack and picks up maybe a yard and will bring up a third. They're going to go for it on 4th down, and why not? They've got the ball at the Circleville 13-yard line. Circleville has not stopped them yet. And they're split, and the quarterback keeper, Johnson, just following his center, Adam Noble, and he is going to be one tired kid by halftime.
No doubt.
1st and 10, ball at the Circleville 10-yard line, 7-0 London. Wide to the right is Adrian Terry. And on the option, it is Johnson to the left side and gets up to about the 5-yard line. Most on the stop.
Your basic option play, fake to the fullback, quarterback Johnson down the line, read the defense, stepped inside for 3 or 4 yards, thought about pitching it late in the run when about the time he used to be tackled, but wisely at the 5-yard line, he just kept it, fell forward for another yard, and he set up 2nd goal from the 5. This is taking a chance at the 5-yard line when you've already gained 5 yards.
Senior running back Greg Huff now into the ball game for the Red Raiders, replacing Carl King, so they've got the 2 big fullbacks in there now. On 2nd and goal to go from the 5, and Huff gets the call, takes it in for the touchdown. Greg Huff picks up London's 2nd touchdown. Hardest. The snap is good, the hold is down, the kick is up, and it is very good. 14-0, London jumps up on Circleville. We still got 2:51 to go here in the first quarter. We'll be right back.
The Prevention Assistance Coalition
to make this one a rout.
As we talked about, London with a very talented team, and Circleville on the rise, expecting a better season, but I think a team like Circleville that's just a little less experienced than London, when you make a big mistake like a bad snap to the punter, and all of a sudden you're down 14-0, it has a big effect in the football game. And London, with all the talent they have, able to take advantage and score 14 points.
Floria to do the kicking off. It is Hicks back at his 12-yard line, takes the end-over-end kick and heads straight up the field, finds a couple of blockers, gets up across the 25, across the 30, and is down at the 31.
Even start for not being on the field on time certainly didn't help things. I think it just got him off on a bad start.
So Circleville 1st and 10 at their own 31-yard line. T formation, Twins on the right side. And pass play on the first play of the drive, and it's almost picked off out there by the defensive halfback, Eric.
Plays, and of course the 2:51 on the clock, second touchdown for London, the 5-yard run by Huff.
And split handoff going to the fullback, the tailback, Hicks. Hicks tries to find some running room on the left side and nothing doing. He's met there and dropped by one of the outside linebackers. That would be John Wilson.
Again, there was a hole for just momentarily for the Tigers. By the time Hicks got there in the counter action, London filled up very quickly. London has a lot of fine athletes, and they're able to fill those holes very quickly. London is a much better team thus far than I saw last year. Much, much better.
We're inside of 2 minutes, 14-0 London. Once again is right at quarterback, right, rolling out to the right side, being chased in trouble, brought down from behind and dropped by the outside linebacker, Greg Huff. Huff having a big game so far. He scored a touchdown on offense and now registers a sack.
Last time the Tigers having their problem with a bad snap, and most was formed under after he got away from a couple of Red Raiders. They need to get a punt off this time.
Adrian Terry makes that Mike Keaton the long snapper, and this time Moats does get a kickoff, and it's going to hit at the 50 and roll behind the safety man, Jason Artis. Artis is just going to let it go, and Circleville downs the football at about the 43-yard line.
43-yard line.
We had 50 seconds to go here in the first quarter and leading 14-0, and I'd be interested to know exactly what the time of possession has been so far in this first quarter. But Circleville hasn't had the ball much here. Johnson back to pass and almost grabbed in the backfield. Being chased once again, turns it up the left corner, cut him back towards the middle, and look at him go. Breaks the tackle, and it's finally going to be a
15-yard mark-off. That was a dead ball foul, which means the first down counts. And the 15 yards marked off will make it 1st and 25 for London.
23 seconds to go here in the first quarter, 14-0 London. And one end split on the left side is Chad Peters, I formation. And Johnson, the quarterback, pitches it back to King. King thinks about throwing it, now runs to the right side, gets hit at the 50, but keeps his feet moving, gets across the 45 and down inside the 43 where he's finally run out of bounds. Once again, it is Hicks on the stop.
Hicks has been all over the field for Circleville.
And it's a good thing. Circleville High School, 14-0, London with the lead and the football. They've got a 2nd and 14 at the 43-yard line of the Circleville Tigers. I formation. Johnson at quarterback. Looks over the defense. Goes under center. Hands off to the tailback, King. King straight up the middle. Finds a nice hole and crosses the 40. Gets down to about the 37-yard line. Pickup of about 5 or 6 on the carry. We'll bring up a 3rd and Twins on the right side. Once again, I formation as they are in most of the time. Back to pass is Johnson. Johnson pumps, throws, and it's going to be incomplete. I do believe Adrian Terry says that he caught the football, and now the official is going to wave it off. Anyway, in that situation, the defensive back and the receiver had their backs turned to the official, and he couldn't see whether it was a catch or not. Anyway, 4th down and 7, and London goes for it. Rolling out the passes, Johnson to the left side, lets it fly over the middle, caught and dropped out there by the split end Chad Peters. So Circleville's defense holds. The Tigers 1st and 10 from their own 37-yard line. The setbacks are Whitcraft and Hicks. And the handoff goes to the fullback.
London, and you would think he'd wear out a bit.
5'9", 165, and the fullback Whitcraft 5'11", 175. So not, and the quarterback 5'10", and 180. Right. So not a very big backfield for the Circleville Tigers. Handoff this time and going to the right side to this T.D. Hicks once again, and not much happening there. I think he just got back to the line of scrimmage. WTLT Circleville Columbus. 14-0 London. and Circleville taking their time in the huddle, deciding what they're going to do here on this big third down play. They really need this one. They send a Moat out 5 to the left, and back to pass is right. Being chased, throws once. Hicks coming out of the backfield, but overshoots Hicks, and it will bring up fourth down and punting situation.
That went off balance, and he overthrew his receiver, T.D. Hicks, in the flat. Hicks had a chance for a first down, but defensive pressure forced the bad pass.
Moats back to punt, standing in his own 25, and again the burners, Carl King and Jason Artis, standing back at the 25 and 30 respectively, and Hicks is going to call for a fair catch and drops the ball. Circleville has recovered.
I believe the ball was recovered by number 80 for the Tigers. People coming in after the block. King was pretty much down there by himself, and in a crowd tried to catch it, fumbled it, and Orris was able to get on in a hurry.
So Circleville takes over on offense. And nice pass is taken by T.D. Hicks. Hicks grabs the ball at the 40-yard line.
Quick to the football.
8:44 and counting. And another pass play, man open, is caught by Hicks. Hicks picks up about another 3 yards on the play. And gets the ball up to about the 37. It is Moats out 5 to the right. Now heading out there in twins is Hicks to join him. Single setback is Whitcraft. Back to pass is right. Right under pressure, throws over the middle. It's almost intercepted. And it is Moats wresting the ball away from the defensive halfback and picking up a few yards. He's still going to be short of the first down, but a very nice catch by Moats.
Moats has made a couple big plays.
4th and 4, and Circleville will go for it. They send twins out on the right side. Again, that is Moats and Hicks. In the slot is Hicks, and back to pass is right. Right has a man open, and it is caught by T.D. Hicks.
It's going to be short of the first down, I believe, Gary.
He
just didn't get far enough down the field into the flats of the tailback, and he no more caught it. London tackled him, and he was short of the first down by about 1.5 yards. London takes over.
7:05 to go here in the first half, and the handoff going right up the middle. This time it is Aaron Roberts, the ball carrier. Roberts with good yardage on first down, picks up about 9 yards.
Between 5 and 10 yards.
Roberts 5'10" and 205 pounds, a junior. He is a wedge. Ends are split. Into the ball game again is Rico Hiram, I formation. It is King and Roberts behind Johnson. And back to pass as Johnson has a man open. Rico Hiram was wide open at the 30-yard line and could not bring the pass in. And he takes quite a...
London went for the downs and just missed it.
Not a bad pass by Johnson. I thought Hiram was going to bring that one in, but couldn't quite come down with it. And then he took a shot from right. This time Roberts, the ball carrier. Roberts just plunges ahead and gets the first down. Very fast-moving first half. Ball resting at the 45-yard line of London. Johnson, the quarterback. Johnson turns around and says something to Roberts, the fullback. And the pitch back goes to King. King cutting around right end and picks up a block, breaks a couple of tackles and heads towards the middle, crosses the 45-yard line down to the 40, and is finally brought down from behind at about the 38-yard line. Again, another first down for London, and the Red Raiders moving the football almost at will, Greg.
Well, that time King got around the right side, cut it back against the grain. T.J. Wright at about 175 pounds, the free safety tackled him, but King just carried Wright about 5 yards before he finally got him down, just that much stronger than T.J. Carl King is a very impressive runner.
And split once again, I formation. Johnson at quarterback turns and fakes a handoff, has a man open, and it's caught over the middle by Adrian Terry. Terry picks up the first down and more as he gets down inside the 20 and is dropped at the 15. Game.
Defensively for the Tigers that time, Nate Hammond, the defensive back, only a sophomore, with the stop of the receiver, but not until he picked up the first down plus yardage.
Ends in tight. Now one split end. It is Terry out wide to the right. The handoff is going up the middle.
We come up and make a lot of stops against these big London backs. Hey, London can run inside with the fullback, outside with the speed of King, and Johnson can throw the ball anywhere he wants to. They have a lot of weapons.
All right, formation, and on the keeper it is Johnson. Johnson fumbles the football, and Circleville says it has recovered. The official may, however, say that his knee was down before he lost the football. We'll have to see what they say. I do believe London is going to keep it.
That's out. Tigers wanted the football, but it'll go back to where Johnson hits the ground. It's about 3rd and 5.
3:38 and counting here in the first quarter. Rico Hiram split out of 5 to the left, and the pitch back this time going to Greg Huff. Huff going around right in and picks up a couple of yards inside the 10 down to about the 7-yard line.
Jason Combs, the linebacker, on the...
See this newly designed car.
Back at Circleville High School, 3:15 to go, second quarter action, and Circleville jumps outside. We'll have to see if the Tigers were drawn off.
We shall see both teams applauding, but I think it's going to go against the Circleville Tigers as they jumped off sides as Johnson that time.
That will make it a first down and goal to go from the 3-yard line for the Red Raiders. Adrian Terry split out 10 yards to the right, I formation. The handoff going to the tailback Carl King. Head down, bulls his way inside the 3 down to about the 1-yard line. He stopped short of the goal line, but not far short of it. It'll be 2nd and goal to go from about the, from here it looks like about the 1-inch line, Greg.
The ball nearly touching the goal line. Very short yardage for the Raiders, and they have 3 more plays to get it in.
The turn, the handoff going to King. King is stopped and stacked up at the goal line, and put
like London still can help you on down the road. The fact that you can make a goal line stand, maybe hold them out for a play or 2.
Rico Hiram back in, Hiram 10 to the left, and Peters 15 to the right. And handoff going up the middle to the fullback, Aaron Roberts, head down, and he just burrows his way in for the touchdown, London. 20-0, and we still got 2:06 left to go here in the first half. That was a 10-play, 79-yard drive for the London Red Raiders. The extra point.
2 players making a big play. They're blocking up front. They're creating holes. They got the fullback. They've got a tailback. Johnson's even better. He's an even better passer than he was last year. He can run with the ball. They have so many weapons. They're a very impressive football team, and I'm going to be surprised if somebody can beat them this entire season.
Floria kicks off and drives Hicks back to about the 15-yard line. He cuts to the right side, heads up the sideline, and actually T.J. Wright taking the football over to break it up, and apparently no flag is going to be thrown.
Gary, it was Mark Short of London that sent T.J. Wright out of bounds and stayed with him about 5 yards out of bounds.
Help me out a little bit. 1:57 to go, first half action. 21-0 London. He can afford to draw a little bit now, at least now that he's away from the bench, as the Red Raiders are up by 3 touchdowns on the Tigers. Handoff this time going to T.J. Hicks.
Yeah, Hicks.
T.D. Hicks picks up a couple of yards, and it's intermission.
I don't think that they'll ever have enough time to throw the ball against a 6-man London front.
And handoff this time going to T.D. Hicks once again, and nothing doing, running into that big wall, defensive wall of London. And picking up maybe a yard if he's lucky. Remaining in the first half, 21-0. London with the lead on Circleville. Circleville with a 2nd and 8 at their own 31. And the quarterback just takes the ball right up the middle, and it is a first down for T.J. Wright, right on the keeper. Found a hole between his center.
Broke it to the outside, picked up the first down. I believe that's the first down for the Circleville Tigers in the half.
We're winding down to about a minute. And an interception pass by Wright is going to be picked off by the defensive halfback Eric Westland, who is having quite a game defensively for London. Westland also returns the ball up to about the 35-yard line, and London...
Not a good pass by T.J. Wright. He just threw that one into an area, and the receiver wasn't even looking. The London defender just stepped up and had an easy interception.
Back to pass is Johnson. Johnson deep in the pocket, going long, and it's intercepted at the 5-yard line by guess who? Circleville would be wise just to sit on the football right now, but we'll see if they will, though. They have the ball at their own 6-yard line, 1st and 10, 53 seconds left, facing that fearsome front line, that 60 defense, and just a very conservative play, run his own goal line. Just grabs the football from the center, Bill Wilson, and bowls ahead following Wilson for a couple of yards, crosses the 5-yard line, and at least gets out of the shadow of his own goalpost.
You know, obviously the most successful running play for Circleville has been, and he is open. The linebacker, of course, right now is playing about 5 yards deep, so there is a little bit of a hole straight ahead. London will give that up just to run the clock out.
4 yards on the keeper by Wright, and he does it again, this time trying to follow his right guard, Jason Combs.
Got another flag, Gary. I think there was movement in the line again.
Well, this is no time for Circleville to be racking up the penalties on the offsides. They have the ball at their own, 5-yard line, and again they're going to move it half the distance to the goal line back, I believe.
Third down, 13 yards to go.
Here we go, and it'll be 2nd down and 12.
Well, Tigers should just let the clock run because they're going to start the clock. And unbelievably, London calls timeout. I don't know what's going on unless they want to score 50 or 60 points, but you're up 21-0. There's no danger. Circleville trying to run the clock out. London calls timeout. I really don't understand it. Other than maybe call another timeout and force them to punt to try to get more points on the board. But really, the half is really, for all purposes, over if they just let Circleville run the play.
Right again, standing just about on his own goal line, goes under center Bill Wilson. Ends in tight, and again, he just takes the hand off and burrows his way right behind Wilson for about a yard, and we're down to 3, 2, 1, and mercifully that is the end of the first half.
The knee injury to Chad Martin, and I'm not sure Chad is going to make a bit of difference against this great London team tonight anyway.
All right, thank you, Greg. Second half action about to get underway, and Floria is teeing up the football at the 40-yard line. Back deep to receive is Hicks. T.D. Hicks standing at his own 14-yard line, fields the high end over and kick, and bobbles it, picks it up at the 15, runs straight ahead, picks up a block, has some good blocking. He's across the 50, the 45, the 40, the 35, the 30, the 20, the 10, 5, touchdown, Circleville! T.D. Hicks on a kickoff return after bobbling the ball at the 15-yard line, returns it 85 yards for the touchdown, Circleville. Well, how about them apples, Greg?
Circleville got into the open and showed great speed to the sideline for the kickoff return and the touchdown.
Attempting the extra point will be John Moats. The long snapper is Keaton. The holder is right. The snap is good. The hold is good. The kick is up, and it is good. And the Circleville Tigers, only 14 seconds into the second half, tack a score up on the board and cut the deficit to 21-7. Takes a long look. Moats eyes the pigskin. Puts the toe into it, and it's a low line drive end over end kick that's going to be fielded at the 17-yard line by King. King takes it straight up the middle of the field, breaks a couple tackles, crosses the 30, across the 35, up to about the 36-yard line where London takes over.
Johnson can throw it, he can scramble with it, and they just have so many offensive weapons that the Tiger defense will be tested once again, of course.
11:29 to go here. Lots of action happening in the first half minute here of the second half. Roberts on the carry, going off of the left tackle, getting up across the 35 and brought down at about the 40-yard line.
Return, so Blair, a sophomore in at linebacker now, along with Combs.
The carry by Roberts, good for 4 yards, brings up a 2nd down and 6 at London's 40-yard line. Johnson at quarterback, takes the handoff, keeps it, rolls to the left side and turns it upfield, and we have a fumble, and Circleville says it has recovered. We shall see when they unpile the stack, and it looks like Johnson got the ball back there at the bottom of the pile, and indeed the official signal that
forward about 2 yards, but Johnson was able to get there first and recover the football for the first down.
London comes out of the huddle and then split. Peters 10 yards to the right, Terry 5 yards to the left. And handoff on the draw play going to Greg Huff. Huff takes it to the right side and crosses the midfield line inside the 40-yard line and down at the Circleville 43. Nice run by Huff.
Great run.
We're winding down to 10 minutes to go here in the third quarter. 21-7 our score. A 14-point lead for London. The Red Raiders trying to get more, and on the keeper it is Johnson. Johnson breaks a couple tackles trying to get outside and does, and is finally run out of bounds at the 25-yard line after yet another London first down. 7 London on WTLT. Gary Richards and Greg Bigham coming to you from Circleville High School, where we've got a ball game. It's 21-0 at halftime. Circleville scoring on an opening kickoff return of 85 yards by a T.D. Hicks for the TD. Run this time going right up the middle to the 25-yard line. A pickup of a couple of yards will bring the second half almost as impressively as they did in the first.
Trying to set the Tigers defensively. Todd Orris, the one defensive end. Blaine Brown on the other side. Linebackers are back to T.D. Hicks and Jason Combs.
Back to throw is Johnson on the fake handoff. Flags fly as the pass is completed at the 15-yard London Red Raiders. They come out of the huddle with Peters a split 10 yards to the left and Terry 15 to the right. I formation and movement on the line and flags fly. 21-0 London. Back to pass is Johnson. Johnson sets, throws over the middle, has a man open, it's caught and almost broken up. And
London.
And doing the honors will be Aaron Roberts. Roberts standing back at the Circleville 48-yard line.
Whoa!
And a high snap going way over Roberts' head. He scoops it up at the 35 and now tries to run with it. Cutting to the right side. Looking to throw and does throw downfield and hits nothing but grass.
The London 45. The incomplete pass takes it to the line of scrimmage. Circleville will get it at their own 35-yard line. So he actually gained about 20 yards by passing the football, but Circleville will take over in pretty good field position.
8:32 remaining in the third quarter, 21-7, and this game is turning out to be rather interesting. John Motes out in twins along with Mark Stonerock on the right side for the Tigers. Back to pass is T.J. Wright, rolling to the right side, being pressured, throwing line downfield for Motes, and Motes is interfered with. Pass interference at the 35-yard line of London. Motes got hung up with the defensive back, who was Eric Westland. Westland is going to be called for
preventing the pass with an obvious interference call.
So the ball is sitting squarely at the 50-yard line now, and a 1st and 10 for the Tigers. Back to pass is Wright. Wright being pressured, in trouble, gets away from one tackler, cutting to the sideline, and gets drug out of bounds from behind and thrown for a loss back at the 35-yard line. Ball spotted back at the 37-yard line, and it brings up 2nd and long, 2nd and 23 for the Tigers, and the handoff on the delayed draw, this time going to Hicks. Hicks tries to squirm away up ahead and gets to about the 39-yard line, only gets 2 yards of it back.
London burned on the long pass, and short really turned out to be a good play, getting pass interference, not giving up the bomb. And you got first down to 50, and then the big sack by London puts Circleville back in the hole.
I formation for the Tigers, 2 receivers on the left side, and the handoff going once again to T.D. Hicks. Hicks going nowhere, stopped at about the line of scrimmage. He may have even lost a yard on that carry. And on to do the punting will be John Motes. And nobody is deep for London. They're expecting a fake. Motes goes ahead and boots the ball to about the 35. It's going to take a Circleville bounce and roll to the 34, down to the 33, where it is on offense. They come out of the huddle with Adrian Terry, split 5 to the left. It is Chad Peters, 10 to the right. I formation, Roberts and King the setbacks. And getting the call this time is Greg Huff, I should say. Huff in there, not King this time. Huff finds a hole right up the middle and barrels ahead for 8 yards on first down.
The Circleville has been able to pull off here in the third quarter, stopping London and then also getting, of course, the opening kickoff return the second half for their touchdown.
Rob Smith down in the game at wide receiver for London, split 5 yards out to the right, and the handoff this time going to the tailback. I believe that is King. King with some running room crosses midfield inside the 45 and down to about the 43-yard line. And actually that was Craig Huff once again on the carry.
A lot of running room that time and a couple broken tackles again. And limping off the field, however, for London was Greg Huff.
Perhaps he was a little bit dinged up himself. So Anderson in now at tailback, and the handoff is going to go to the fullback. Aaron Roberts plunges straight up the middle for only 1 yard. Quarter, and it's a 2nd down and 9 for the London Red Raiders. I formation. Johnson on the keeper, rolling to the right side, and he is going to be hit at the line of scrimmage and brought down as flags fly everywhere.
There are penalty flags down.
We'll have to see what the call is going to be. Johnson just taking the handoff and trying to find a little hole and dance his way up the middle. We have a Tigers player down on the field along with a Raiders player.
Against London, the other was clipping against London, so the Tigers declined the illegal use of hands and accepted the clipping, which is a more severe penalty, and they take the 15-yarder against London.
2nd and a mile now for the Red Raiders, 2nd and 30 to be exact. The ball spotted at the Red Raiders 42-yard line, and back deep to pass is Johnson. He dumps a pass off to Roberts in the flat, and Roberts runs it up the right sideline, cuts back to the middle, crosses midfield, and gets down inside the 45, brought down finally at about the 42-yard line.
2 blockers in front, and they pick up good yardage. Great execution on a screen pass by London.
So we're back to a 3rd down and 9 now for the Red Raiders. 4 minutes and counting here in the 3rd quarter. 21-7 our score, and Johnson back to pass. He's got all day. Throws over the middle. The ball is tipped and almost intercepted and falls incomplete. Aaron Roberts once again punting. Again, only the 2nd punt. Actually, they have, this will be the 1st punt, the 2nd punt attempt, and this time the snap is good. And Roberts kicks a duck, but it's going to take a London bounce at the 15-yard line and roll ahead all the way to the 5-yard line.
Get it away, not get it blocked, and it turned out to get a great roll, bounced inside the 10. Circleville with terrible field position, but much better second half for the Tigers. They're still down 21-7, but some positive things have happened for Circleville, but still London with a 21-7 lead and pretty good command of this football game.
DJ Wright this time.
Oh, I think it got past that one.
The quarterback trying to get it to the right side on the keeper. Gets up to...
Not a big run, and he just simply slipped as he tried to cut upfield. That was almost a big play off of a quarterback keeper.
But as it was, it turns out to be a 3-yard gain and brings up a 2nd down and 7 at the 9-yard line. This time nothing fancy. Running play going up the middle. That is T.D. Hicks on the carry. Hicks picks up maybe a yard, if that.
Tigers simply can't run too much. That takes any time to develop.
The moment of truth here for the Tigers. A big 3rd down play, 3rd and 7 from their own 9, and T.D. Hicks on the carry gets close to the 1st down. I think he may have it.
Probably real close, Gary.
Real here in the second half than they did in the first half when they were thoroughly dominated by the Red Raiders. Here we go. Circleville breaks the huddle with ends split. 5 yards to either side. 2 setbacks. That quarterback at his right. Hands off. This time it is T.D. Hicks. Hicks off of left tackle. Picks up about 4 yards on the carry. Brought down finally at about the 24-yard line.
With the 14-point advantage, they still have a 2-touchdown lead, and Circleville has a long way to go.
Winding down to 1 minute to go. The handoff once again going to Hicks. Hicks trying to find a hole on the left side. There is none. He picks up maybe a yard.
Not much gain on that last play, and as you said, Gary, 3rd and 5. See if the Tigers try to go back to that quick quarterback trap, although London looks like they're in a different front right now. That looks like they lost the football on the snap.
Fumbled by the quarterback right. I think he managed to get it back, pouncing on it, and the umpire will stack, and indeed Circleville will keep the football, but it brings up a 4th down. Say goodbye, Greg.
Way to go against this very good London football team, but much better.
Another station. 21-14 our score. 4th down and 7, and a punting situation for Circleville. Doing the punting will be John Motes. Motes standing back at his own 5-yard line. And the snap sails over his head and out of the back of the end zone. Motes has to pounce on it, and we are going to have a safety. So, London is going to tack another 2 points on the board on the safety on John Motes. Motes going to boot the ball from the 20-yard line, and back deep to receive are the speedsters Carl King and Jason Artis. Here's the kick, and it's a low line drive end-over-end kick that's going to be fielded at the 40-yard line. Huff on the carry. Takes it straight ahead, and a nice return. Actually, that was Sid Anderson on the return. So now London takes over with great field position with 11:47 to go here in the ball game, leading 23-7. The ball spotted at the Circleville 39-yard line. Johnson at quarterback, I formation, ends are split. Johnson goes under center, Adam Noble, and throws over the middle, has a man open, and it is caught for the first down and lots more by the wide receiver, Adrian Terry. Terry, going right over the middle, had his man beat. Johnson laid the ball in nicely. Terry takes it down inside the 20-yard line down to about the 17.
T.J. Rice, the safety, had to come in and save that one.
11:18 with the clock moving here in the fourth quarter. 23-7 our score. Johnson at quarterback with a 1st and 10. Turns and hands off to the tailback straight up the middle. 15-yard line, and London now with an opportunity to put this ball game away. Clock starts moving once again. One receiver. That is Huff, now split out 15 to the right. Rolling out the pass is Johnson, rolling to the left side on the keeper. Turns it upfield, going to keep it himself, and picks up, I think, enough for the first down. It might be close. 2nd down and 8. Check that. 2nd down and 18, I should say. And back to pass is Johnson. He has a man open, and it is caught for the first down and more. Getting down near the goal line is Adrian Terry, and he gets very close to the goal line. We have seen no signal for the touchdown yet. I think the Circleville managed to stop him at about the 1-foot line. So on 2nd down and 18, Johnson comes out throwing, finds Terry open on a crossing pattern over the middle, and lays it right in there. And it'll be 1st and goal to go. They're going to say that he was down at the 3, so 1st and goal to go at the 3. Handoff going up the middle, and it's Huff in for the touchdown. Beg your pardon, that was the fullback Aaron Roberts. Roberts picks up the touchdown, and London on a roll. Circleville showed some signs of life, but now they're down 29-7. London winning this game going away. Well, we still have 9:41 to go in the ball game, but London padding their lead. They're up 22 now, looking to make it 23. On to do the attempt the extra point is Jeremy Floria. And the kick is up, and it is good. So 29 to make that 30-7 now our score. London leading Circleville, 9:41 to go in the fourth quarter, and we take this time out. 30-7 our score now, a 23-point lead for the London Red Raiders.
Last drive pretty quick, 5 plays, 39 yards. Didn't take them very long.
The kickoff now, driving deep man back to the 15-yard line. He
25.
He turns it straight up the middle. Terry on the stop. T.D. Hicks on the return, and Circleville will take over 1st and 10 at about their own 25-yard line. 9:34 to go in the ball game. 30-7 our score. Circleville trailed by 3 touchdowns at halftime, 21-0. But then a kickoff return of 85 yards by T.D. Hicks, 14 seconds into the first into the second half. Got Circleville back to within 14. Pass play now, and T.J. Wright going long up the sideline, looking for T.D. Hicks, and just overthrows him at the 45-yard line. Hicks had plenty of running room, too. He would have been gone to the races if he could have been able to pull that one in. The ball just a bit overthrown. But London coming on strong in the remainder of the third quarter and taking a commanding lead. It is right back to pass, rolling out, going long again for the sideline for Marsh. It's going to be intercepted, picked off by Rico Hiram. Hiram cuts back to the middle and is knocked down at the Circleville 45-yard line. And London once again will take over with great field position. A desperation pass by Wright trying to go long for Mosen. He really threw a duck up there. The ball underthrown, and Rico Hiram waiting for it at about the 40, returns it 17, about 18 yards to the Circleville 45-yard line. We're under 9 minutes to go in the football game now. 30-8. London with the lead, and once again with the football. Back to pass is Johnson. Johnson being pressured, gets away from one tackler, but then loses his feet and goes down back at the 46-yard line. It'll be second down and 21. Actually, a loss of 11 yards on the sack. Johnson leads London out of the huddle in the I formation, enters split. Johnson goes under center, takes a long look around, turns around and says something to his fullback Aaron Roberts, and now we have a flag in the backfield, I believe, delay of game perhaps. And it does go against London. 26, Circleville can get the ball back with decent field position and do something here.
Last time they're in this situation, they threw a screen pass. There it is.
And there it is once again. You called it, Michael, and the pass is complete to Anderson. Cutting to the middle, gets over the midfield line, inside the 45 and down inside the 40-yard line. And still short of the first down, but they got most of it back. We'll bring up a third down and about 3.
It's about the third or fourth time tonight they've had second forever, but they seem to always make it up.
So once again, London is rolling here. Just when they were facing third and long situation, or second and long situation, they come up with a big pass, and now here's another pass, and it takes a wicked angle and a high bounce off the shoulder pads of Adrian Terry. Terry was wide open, no one within 5 yards of him, but he couldn't bring it in. It hit his shoulder pads and went way up in the air and almost was intercepted. That brings up a 4th down and 3, and we'll see what Coach Dobbenmeyer decides to do now. Coming into the ball game is Rob Smith, an extra wide receiver. It appears that they will go for it. They will indeed. Adrian Terry splits out 15 yards to the left. It is Rob Smith out 5 to the right at the near sideline. Setbacks are Huff and Roberts. And we have listed, I believe, another delayed game perhaps.
I had a feeling on that if they didn't draw them off, they'd probably call time and punted that.
Again, ends are split, and a little out pass is thrown by Johnson behind his wide receiver Terry. A little bit of miscommunication there. The ball about a yard behind Terry as he turned around and tried to come back for it. Circleville High School. London comes out of the huddle with Terry at 10 yards to the left. Chad Peters 5 to the right, and the handoff going straight up the middle, and Huff gets the call. And is met the line of scrimmage, manages to drag a tackler a couple of yards and picks up about 3 down inside the 30 to about the 39-yard line. Early on the Tiger 30-yard line. 6:44 and counting here in the ball game. Smith 5 to the right and Peters 10 to the left, I formation. Roberts and Huff to step backs and back to pass with Johnson. He wants Peters out. He got him. Oh, Oh, the ball dropped in the end zone. Nice try. Actually, Adrian Perry, the wide receiver there, he had it in the corner of the end zone. It slipped right through his hands, and they'll bring up a 4th down and 6. We'll see if they go for it again this time. Why not? They've got the ball at the Circleville 30, too far out for a field goal. No point in a punt right now. They're down to 6:27 in the ball game, 30-7 our score. They send Perry out 10 yards to the left. The single wide out, 2 setbacks. And a quick drop and pass over the middle, almost intercepted, and Circleville says they have intercepted the ball. Incomplete. Incomplete out, hopefully we have time to hold. Ball spot at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Red Raiders. They're not done yet. 6:17 to go in the ball game, leading 30-7 on the Circleville Tigers. I formation once again. Perry outside to the right. Pitch back this time, going to the tailback, Sid Anderson. Anderson sweeps to the left side and picks up a couple of yards on the carry. Going to be stopped at, about the 15-yard line. They will give him 5 yards on the carry and bring up a 2nd and long 5. 5:56 and counting here in the football game. 30-7 our score, London leading Circleville. This time it is Perry out 10 to the right. In the slot on the left side is Anderson. And quick pass over the middle, and it is complete to Perry. Perry cuts to the middle and is dropped inside the 5-yard line down to about the 4. It's another London 1st down. 1st and goal, minutes to play in the football game. 30-7 our score. London leading Circleville on FM 107.1 WCLT. I formation. And handoff going right up the middle to Aaron Butler. We have a flag immediately on the clock. Ball now spotted at the Circleville 13. Turn and fake handoff, rolling out to the left side is Johnson. Wants to get rid of it. Now reverse direction, cutting back to the right side of the field. Wants to throw. Still hangs on to the football. Cuts it in, heads up to the Circleville, a 33-yard line. And it's 1st and a mile. Back pass is Johnson. Now he tucks it in. Tries to head upfield. Cuts to the right side, and he's going to be dropped at the 32. Picks up maybe a yard on the play. T.J. Hicks once again on the tackle. He's been there all night, all over the field on both sides of the line. Down to 4 minutes even to go in the football game. High formation and split. Johnson gonna put it up in the air, throwing for the sideline. Intercepted by the cornerback and brings it back up the field. Another flag. Hammond with the interception. We have a flag on the play. Nate Hammond, the cornerback, picking off the football and returning it up the field. We'll have to see what the flag is all about. Once again, the Tigers have the football. We'll see if they can get on the board one more time here before the end of the game. And if London's defense continues the penalty parade, maybe they won't even have to gain any yards on their own. Maybe they'll be able to take it right down the field. High formation. Back to pass. Is right, rolling to the left side, throws it upfield, and pass incomplete. Intended for Moats at the 45-yard line. Moats had it in his hands, but lost it as he hit the ground. They'll bring up a 2nd down and 10 at the 37-yard line of the Circleville Tigers to stop the clock. 2nd and 10 at the 37. Moats comes out 10 yards to the left. I formation. T.J. Ritz quarterback. Step back Whitcraft and Hicks. And fumble on the exchange. And they will unpile a stack, and we'll see who ends up with the football. I think Circleville managed to recover on it. We're going to take a look here. Yeah. And Wright did recover the football. Football game, 30-7 our score. Right at quarterback, ends in tight, I formation. Tyson Whitcraft and T.D. Hicks the setbacks. Handoff going up the middle, and Hicks is going to be thrown for a loss of a couple of yards, dumped back at the 29-yard line. They'll bring up a 4th and 15 and a punting situation. Most will come on to do the punting now.
So this has been interesting all night. Let's see what happens.
And once again, nobody deep for London. It looks like they're going to come after Moats once again. Here's the snap, but again, it's way over his head. Rolling back to the end zone, and Moats scoops it up in the 2-yard line. Looks like he wants to throw it, but he tucks it in and gets buried at the 9-yard line. Ooh, he went down hard, but he pops right back up. And again, a bad snap way over the head of
Now until September 23rd, the best-selling vehicle in the world also has a $1,000 rebate. The Ford F-Series truck. Buckeye Ford has a great selection of F-Series trucks, both 2- and 4-wheel drive and super cab. Don't buy until you try Buckeye. Come test drive the Ford F-Series truck at Buckeye Ford Mercury, routes 40 and 42 in London.
And on the quarterback keeper, Hardis, who is in there now for London, on the keeper, just runs it right into the end zone, and London puts another score on the board, 36-7. A 10-yard touchdown run for Jason Hardis, the sophomore. Hardis going in at quarterback during that timeout. Perhaps that was why Coach Davenmar called the timeout, to get Johnson out of the game and get Hardis in there. Now Hardis will do the holding as Jeremy Floria comes in to attempt the extra point. It's up. It's good. And it's 37-7. A good old-fashioned wipeout here at Tiger Stadium. We'll be right back after this timeout.
When it comes to they're the glass pros, when it involves windshield.
Well, 37-7. London now up 30 points on the Circleville Tigers with 1:45 remaining in the football game. And set to do the kicking off will be Jeremy Floria. And back to receive at the 15-yard line. Number 32 takes it straight up the middle of the field as several substitutes in the football game right now. And Hicks on the return. Hicks, one of the starters, still in there for Circleville. 1:39 to go in the football game. 37-7 our score. And Circleville will take over at their own 30-yard line, 1st and 10.
And his entire staff. That's Louis R. Mott, DDS, at 57 West High Street in London. Call 852-2650. Dr. Mott and his staff says, drill 'em, Raiders.
With a nice run for first down. Crossing the 50-yard line down to the London 49. 37-7. London leading by 30 points with just a minute to go in the football game. And a little bit of confusion on the part of the Tigers now as they quickly get set. Evans at quarterback, turns, hands off, and once again it is Thomas, and there he goes again, another nice run, crosses the 30-yard line for yet another first down as he runs out of bounds. Thomas, the 5'8", junior, making the most of his opportunities here. 2 carries and has close to 30 yards in those 2 carries.
But in the future, it will be a necessity. Private Industry Council number 17 urges every youth in the classroom today to stay there and learn everything you can. Stay in school. It's very important in the future. This message from Private Industry Council number 17.
Hometown people dealing with hometown people. That's the Savings Bank of Circleville, Asheville, and Williamsport. The Savings Bank is Pickaway County's largest independent bank.
Final play of the game, Evans to Thomas. Final score,
London 37, Circleville 7.
Leading by 3 touchdowns at the half. Circleville came back with a kickoff return to start the second half to save the deficit to 2 touchdowns at 21-7. But the second half was all London, including the penalties. We'll be back to wrap it up for you right after this timeout.
Goodyear Plymouth Chrysler Dodge in London announces its annual factory-authorized model clearance sale going on now. Get $1,500 cash back on 1992 Acclaims or Spirit.